coming on too. So.
And Jay Wright should be joining us momentarily.
Yeah, Candace is coming on.
I just want to say thank you, everybody, for jumping on here tonight.
That's right. Welcome, everybody, to our evening session here on club secretaries. Thanks, everybody, for taking a little bit of time out to talk about some interesting issues and to share some ideas. We're honored to have Erin Kelly, Executive Director of the Chattanooga Club, who's with us tonight to lead this session. And I'm going to be the first one to say this is an area I know very little about. Of course, I could probably say that about lots of Rotary areas, but this is one of the ones at the top of the list. So I'm looking forward, like many of you probably are, from learning some things from Erin. So Erin, it's all yours. Thank you.
Okay, are you ready for me to share something?
Yeah, you should be able to do that.
Well, stand by, because I'm new at Zoom too. So I've been doing my job. I've been managing downtown for 15 years. I think I've got it. Can anybody see that?
It's coming. Yep.
Yay! Well, I'm on the wrong page. Just bear with me. There we go. So that's my name and my number. And so what I want to say is that if you want to write that number down, I'll be available to you. If you have a question at any time, just call me at the office. If I don't know the answer, I'll find it. There's always something that comes up, and I want this to be more of a conversation than just me telling you this, that, or the other. But I just have some basic things I want to go through. Some things you want to do. Probably one of the most important things is to maintain your club records. Your invoice that comes July 1 or thereabouts, what's in there is in there. You don't prorate anything. You can't change anything. So if you need to make changes, be sure they're done before July 1. So if you know someone's resigning or so, take them out before July 1st because you're going to be billed for that number. You will be keeping minutes of your board meetings. Some people do minutes from their regular meetings. But there's a ton of resources for you. Your previous club secretary is your best resource because they know how your club works. So, communication with that person is good. Rotary.org has everything. If you haven't been on there, that's the place you need to go next. They've got a learning center. You can take some classes where you can figure things out, or I can direct you that way. And of course, you can always call me for help. And there's that Rotary.org is the address, and that's where you'll do all of your. Some of you have DACDB or Club Runner that works with Rotary.org. We use DACDB, but you can do everything from Rotary.org. And your maintenance of club records, like I said, was probably your most important thing. And I'll walk through this here in a minute if I can figure out how to do it. I'm going to try to get to Rotary.org and show it to you. Maybe. There it is. Can you see that?
No.
Not yet.
Okay, stand by.
Did you share it?
I'm gonna try that again. Share. Stand by now. There it is. I'm clicking it. Can you see it now?
There it is. Yep.
There it is.
Yeah, now.
So manage is where you're gonna go. There's all wonderful things, club administration, and that's where you'll go to add, delete, or edit your members. You can make sure that your club information is correct in there. Let's see, Learning Center. Learning and reference, and that's where you're going to find a ton of stuff. Well, I'm not touching it. It's just going crazy. Learn by role is where you can take the training for club secretary, and it really gets into the detail. If you haven't done it, I think you can break it up in parts. Is that right, Ron? I'm pretty sure you can. I don't know if you even know.
Yes, you can take everything in sections, so
Right.
you can
So
start
you don't
and
have to
stop
do it
whenever
all
you
at
want.
once. But then there's topics. So if you're only interested in membership, or you need to do something in membership, you can really learn a lot. It's laid out for you step by step. But I'm trying, y'all. I'm on this old laptop, so bear with me. District roles. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. That is not it. Sorry, folks.
Well, Erin, how about if I make a couple of announcements while you're looking? Does
Yeah,
that
I think
sound
you
good?
should, Ron.
Sure. Okay. Well, first of all, again, thanks for everybody for joining in. There are a couple of important announcements, and the reason I'm telling it to this group is because oftentimes the club secretaries are responsible for these areas, or at least they know who is. So, and I'm going to read this to you very carefully so that I don't get this wrong. And please know that the club presidents and the assistant governors, several of whom who are on the phone now, have heard this, so this will not be a surprise to them. Number one, effective July 1st, the district will no longer collect monthly attendance information. However, clubs are still strongly encouraged to continue tracking attendance by each club's methods, especially at club meetings, as one measure of club member engagement. We are not trying to change any club's methods or philosophy on attendance with this announcement. This is simply an attempt to reduce administrative burden on our clubs. And again, I cannot emphasize enough the fact that we're not trying to change what anybody is doing. And we're not encouraging you to necessarily change anything that you're doing. All we're saying is, don't give us a report every month on your attendance, because we don't use it, and the Rotary Foundation and the Rotary International has not collected it for years. So, but I still believe, I firmly believe, and I think that the governors before me and after me will say, you know, keeping attendance, especially at your club meetings, is a very important measure of member engagement. So you need to be doing that. But how you do it should be up to the clubs, because every club has different needs. Okay. The second announcement: the district will no longer collect service hours on a monthly basis. Again, clubs are still expected to track service activities and to report some hours in the manner best suited for your club in Rotary Club Central, in your annual reports, and from time to time to your assistant governor. We are not trying to change any club's methods or philosophy on tracking or recording service activities and individual engagement with this announcement. This is simply an attempt to reduce administrative burden on our clubs. Again, I believe it's very important that you know what your service activities are. You have some idea of who is participating in these projects and who aren't, and that you be able to provide some sort of estimate or exact number, depending upon how your club wants to do it, about the total number of hours going into each project, because I think it is important for us, to know that. And Rotary International needs those bigger numbers. The important thing to me, and I think again to the Mr. Governor team, is member engagement. We need to know, you need to know, or at least I hope you think you need to know, what's important for your club in terms of who's engaged and who's not. So that if people aren't engaged, you can maybe try to find out why they aren't engaged and what you can do to help that happen. So, do we have any questions from anybody about these two? I think we didn't have a problem with talking to the assistant governors and the president-elects about that. So I think everybody understood we're just trying to eliminate some administrative burden. But if you have any questions or comments, this would be a good time. Or you could send a chat, and I could take care of it later on.
Ron, I have one question, Ron.
Okay.
When you enter in, Rotary Central and DAC-DB do not communicate.
That is correct.
So when you're looking at volunteer hours, are you looking at primarily what's in DAC-DB?
I think the answer is no, because the only thing, DAC-DB's service hours don't convert to Rotary Club Central, and they're not going to. Rotary is not going to do that. And so, what you need to be able, to do, Colleen, is if you're going to track hours specifically for people, you have to figure out what the best way for you to do it is, and then you need to put something in Rotary Club Central about those estimated hours.
Are we still going to have access to the Engage module within DAC-DB to track those?
No, that is going to go away on July 1st, and that decision was just recently made. So
I didn't know that. So we'll have to come up with
That's,
a different system.
that's terrible.
yeah,
Okay, so that I understand, the engagement module is going to go away, and we'll have to come up with a different system to track volunteer hours.
that was a conversation last week, but I encourage all of you who are using DAC-DBs, for that to send me some emails so that we know about that. Okay.
We have some conversation going on. I can't understand.
Yeah, we'll probably have to mute everybody as we get back to Erin. So Erin, are you ready to go now?
Yeah, I guess.
All right. Let me find it. I'll try to.
I didn't know about
that.
that engagement thing, so I'm still going there. So I just wanted to show you where you go to learn different things. The club roles, what I was talking about earlier was, this secretary module. There's a lot. Here, all the things you do and different resources. I mean, you've got a ton of resources here, and here is like set and track goals and Rotary Club Central. That's one of the most important things I think that we do. And your president should have already set your goals for this incoming year, but you may be the one that has to track them. And so you may need to go under tools there and learn how to do that. But you can see just above that is your membership data. And let's go there. And I'm happy if somebody doesn't, really doesn't get it, I'm happy to work with each individual. I don't have a problem with that at all. But this is one that I use a lot. And this is where you add or remove members, you edit members, you add your club officers. I try to do that in December after our election to make sure it's in there before that. I believe the deadline is January 1. But to add or remove members, that's the one. And I'm just going to go there and show you what it looks like. Oh yeah, Rotary.org is slow. As you can see. So the information here, that's what it looks like. So you can make any changes you need to there. But I mean, you see the information. There's Dr. Deborah Arfkin. She's got 23 years in Rotary. So you've got a lot of information there. It shows an honorary member with 51 years. This is where you're going to make those changes. You can see, I need to see. You can terminate, add, edit, all kind of different things there.
Erin, I have a question about entering that data there.
Okay.
I've done some for our club, and I've always done it in DAC-DB.
I do too.
And
I had to relearn how to do it.
And you can do member compare and,
yep.
and get it up to RI. And I have never even gone into the RI website to see what's in there. And so are there some things that I can't do from DAC-DB that I should do in the RI website?
Well, the only thing that I've discovered is if you add a new member in DAC-DB, it takes a while to get that member number. And when I'm setting them up, I do it all at one time. I mean, I need that member number. So I typically go to RI to add a member. It kind of duplicates my effort. I go to add. I'm having trouble seeing it because the little pictures of everybody's over here. But you go in here and you add a new member and you put in all the information, and I get a member number before I go to DACDB. But when you put the name in DACDB, 9 times out of 10, it'll automatically fill it out. Once you put that member number in, it'll pick it up.
Yeah.
You have to watch, and I know some people don't have DACDB, so this is probably not making any sense. There's some things that don't convert, so you kind of have to go through it to make sure everything is correct. But that's typically just from trial and error. That's how I've done it.
Yeah.
And there will be trial and error, folks. And, you know, if you have a question, no one's going to die if you make a mistake. So anything can be fixed. And if you don't know the answer, call me, or I'll put you in touch with somebody that can help you. I'm going to give you Darwin's name and number here in a minute. At Rotary International, and he's a great contact up there. Actually got to meet him in person, so that helped a lot. Let's go back. I want to go back to my PowerPoint.
And I think it's probably fair to say, Erin, that, you know, moving forward, everyone needs to be getting more comfortable with the Rotary Club Central, because
Yes,
Rotary is moving away from interfacing with every non-Rotary platform. And so
Right.
even though DACDB,
because everybody
even-
begged us to get on DACDB.
even though DACDB connects to us now, I think 5 years from now, they're not going to be with us. I think Rotary is going to do that. And so, to me, you
Ron,
probably ought to be ready for that.
I
Wow.
believe what you're saying. That may be the way we're going, but I'm a new executive secretary, and so I've just started getting some of these messages. And I'm not the primary secretary, so I haven't been doing all of this stuff. But one of the messages I got from RI said, "Please do this through DACDB.
Yeah.
Update all your membership there." They were encouraging that we do it that way. So
Huh.
I don't know.
Well, let's see.
I think it would be less confusing for a lot of people if we would do it one way or the other.
You got that right, because it took us a long time to learn DACDB.
You know, and unfortunately,
intuitive.
you change club secretaries every year or two. About the time you get good at it, you know, then you turn it over to somebody else and the learning curve begins again. And it's frustrating for presidents, and there's good and bad about both of them, but it's the system becomes complicated when there's that much redundancy.
Wow. So it's basically a database.
Y'all are lucky. When my club found out I was good at it, they voted to make me the permanent secretary. I'm not allowed to move.
TJ.
TJ, that's why you're the high czar.
That's correct.
Yeah. Well, so your club data, I think I've gone back over this a couple of times. Your club data is important. Make sure your time and location, everything's updated. That goes on to risk management. So are there questions about this right now? Things that you do? I want to have a conversation if you have a question.
Erin, I have a question. Shannon from
Okay.
Knoxville.
Yes, ma'am.
And so currently, you're saying we should actually sign new members up through Rotary.org and get the member number, and then take the member number into DACDB
Yeah,
and paste it there, and then
that's
that
how
will
I've been
populate
doing it.
everything. Okay, so they do interface.
They're communicating now.
Great.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
But what I'm saying is 9 times out of 10, it will work. Sometimes it doesn't, and you have to redo it all over. But when you put the number in and you start typing the name in, sometimes, and most of the time, it picks it up. It just fills it out. But you still have to go check everything to make sure. Forget. It's done something weird a couple of times, but it will typically fill it out.
Well, thanks. That sounds great. Thank you.
Well, give it a try and call me if you have trouble, because I'll try to figure it out.
I had a question.
Okay.
Emily from Oak Ridge.
Yes, ma'am.
So if I'm hearing this all correctly, I'm taking over slowly, so I've been learning DACDB and what have you. Should I then be moving towards Rotary Central to do most everything, since I think I'm going to be secretary for quite a while?
Well, Rotary Club Central is where you're going to do your main reporting to Rotary International.
Okay.
Think of your DACDB as your database. I mean,
Okay.
it's your club's database. And so it will pick up some of the information, but I report, and Wanda's been doing it in DACDB, but I think we're going to switch over now that we know.
Okay.
You can go through Rotary Club Central, and we'll try to get to it real quick.
Hey, Erin, is Rotary Club Central different than myrotary.com?
Well, yeah, kind of. Hang on, let's see if I can find it. There it is, Rotary Club Central under Club and District Administration. You see that?
Yes.
It takes a minute. Y'all, we'll be frustrated with how slow this site is, I promise. There's all kind of fun and wonderful things. You can get some great information on this page. All your, and this is going to be our club, so your club may look different. There's a ton of information, and I encourage you to go there, spend time reading and looking, because hopefully somebody's updated it before you, and you can see where you are. I mean, we're looking at membership trends, and we're so far so good. We haven't lost too many during this crisis, but I expect when July billing goes out, we'll probably lose a couple more. We'll just realize they can't do it. But let's look around.
Yeah. Okay. Now,
You mind if I just look around a little?
yeah, that's fine. Ty just asked a basic question that I think asked,
Okay.
kind of got back to the other question that was asked. You know, My Rotary is your personal access to the Rotary website and your personal information and your ability to do things in Rotary. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Rotary Club Central is the club information. And so everybody has access to some information about their club, but then people who have individual kinds of, responsibilities then are able to enter things into Rotary Club Central on behalf of the club. For example,
Right.
Ty, you're a Rotary Club president, so you can enter goals and things like that, right? Okay. But you do that, you go into My Rotary so that you can get into, you have access to it, but you have to get into Rotary Club Central to enter your goals.
Yep.
So Rotary Club Central is under My Rotary. To
That's
get to
correct.
Rotary Club Central, you go to My Rotary.
You have to go through
Yes.
My Rotary to get to it. That's correct.
I'll back up and show you again, maybe. It's not gonna, yeah, it is. It again is slow. Well, it's not, it's gonna do the same thing. But hopefully your president has put the goals in. And I'll just go over, I don't think I can see, I don't know if you can see our gender trends. And it's amazing. Our club, the male, pale, and stale traditional Rotary Club, we've got 25% women now. It's pretty cool. And we're doing really well being diversified, and different minority groups are represented well. And I'm pretty proud of that. We have our first African-American president, Elaine Swafford, coming up. It's a big step. It's a great time for that. But there's a lot of information in this, and you can do, we're at the dashboard. I think that's where we are. Your goals. This is where you report your service activities. Different reports are available for your club. I would encourage you just to go on there and look around as much as you can to get familiar with it. Oh, it took me back. But if I was going to go add somebody, well.
So Erin, I'm sorry, this is Colleen from Fairfield.
Yes, ma'am.
Could I ask you and Ron a question? when I input into Rotary Central, I pull that data that we enter into DACDB. And so, and maybe I'm premature and we can talk about this later. And so the DACDB data, and you said it was a database, that's not going away in how we enter it, because we do enter that data through the engagement module. That's how I can transfer that information into Rotary Central. So what are we going to do come July 1st? Are we going to be able to do that? Is that still going to be in, are we still going to be able to enter in our projects into DACDB in the engagement module?
I don't know the answer about projects. I'd have to ask Greg about that, but certainly
Yeah.
for individuals, that isn't changing at all. You know, when you're entering somebody, you can put them in DACDB or Rotary Club Central.
Okay.
It's the engagement that I'm curious about. I didn't know that, so I've got to find out about that myself.
Yeah, in my case, I've done all the membership stuff in DACDB, and I don't know that I've made any mistakes in doing it that way. But all the project stuff, I've done it in Rotary Club Central. So you definitely can enter projects and service hours and that kind of stuff in Rotary Club Central. That's the way I've done it, just by choice, because my club wasn't using the engagement module.
Well, I think the engagement module is a lot easier to track individual service hours, though, in comparison to Rotary Club Central is good for tracking total hours per project, but it's going to be really hard for clubs to find a system similar enough to engage within DACDB for us to do what we've been doing.
I'm sympathetic to that. I haven't been trying to do that in our club, but if you've been doing it, it's a good thing to do. So
yeah, I mean we print quarterly reports for our club. Just about Jay's on here. He can tell you we use Engage all the time to track everything, and that's what we use to do club awards at the end of the year and everything.
Do we know why that's going away, Ron? We know why the engagement is going away out of DACDB. Is it Rotary that wants it, or is it DACDB that's pulling it?
Well, actually, right now it's a decision of the governor's committee, but we'll revisit it. You know, part of the issue that we're dealing with is not very many people are actually using it.
Okay.
Well,
yeah, and I think the other issue is that a lot of that stuff isn't going to report up anymore.
Well,
but if we're still in first bracket, then we're going to have to come up with a completely.
But I think it's short. I think it's short-sighted. I brought mine. That's all. I'm sorry. I think it's short-sighted. The clubs that are using it, as TJ said, it's very valuable to be able to record those individual hours and then do the summary in DACDB.
And not only that, it also calculates the economic impact to your community based on the service hours too. It puts in that volunteer hour worth automatically.
Exactly. So I would, if there's any negotiation about keeping the engagement module and then telling the other clubs how important that is as far as transferring that information to Rotary Central, I would be in favor of looking at that option.
A lot of clubs, though, that don't use DACDB at all.
Well, but it's still good input, so we still have plenty of time to revisit it, because we have until June 30th to go one way or the other. So
okay, well, what else can we talk about? Let's see. Any more questions about My Rotary and different places you can go, different resources?
I had questions. I just want to make sure I can get logged into this stuff. How do we get usernames? Or
you have to set up an account at Rotary.org. You could go in and I think you use your member number. But you can go when you sign in initially, it'll ask you to set up an account. It's been so long since I've done it.
Yeah, if you go to Rotary.org, then you see my Rotary up here, right next to where it says Rotary.org, and you'll see my Rotary. And if you don't have an account, then the first thing it'll do is prompt you to create one.
Yep. There you go. And I'm signed in as Elaine Swafford. I'm signed in as my president right now because I've been putting her goals in. So some of you may or may not know, I'm actually a paid employee for Chattanooga Downtown. I've been doing this a while, but I'm a member of Breakfast Club. So I've been doing it for a minute. I have something else I want to show you. And I got this today. Can you see that? Hello?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, this is our membership, something that comes to us once a month. You can see all the clubs and where they are membership wise. And this is just good information to have. And I'm guessing they send it to club secretaries. Katie Bell sends it to me. But it kind of gives you an idea what's happening in the district. So you can see where people start, what their goal is, where they are each month. And it's just, to me, it's kind of interesting. So it's something that you would share with your board of directors, I expect. What else can I share? I'm going back to my slideshow. There's another thing I wanted to talk about. Risk management. And I understand that there's a review going on, so this may change, but right now your clubs are covered with D&O insurance and liability insurance. If you're doing a project with a lot of people, a big dinner, you may want to check just to make sure that you're covered. So there's a contact information there. And if you shoot me an email, I'm happy to send this to you. And you should get the information, revised information in July.
And we do have an incoming representative for our district about RI insurance, and her name is Cindy Jeffers, and she is from the Oak Ridge Sunset Club. And we can get that information to you as well. She has a lot of experience in doing and working with RI on these various kinds of issues, and so she can basically answer a lot of the liability questions that you may have for Rotary type events. And as Erin was saying, RI regularly reviews its insurance policies, and this is one of the years when they are doing it pretty heavily.
And you'll see it on your bill.
yeah. And as you might imagine, it's an interesting time to be talking to insurance companies. So they're a little bit farther behind on this than they normally by now we would know what's going on next year, but right now we haven't gotten any information. So.
But if you need proof of insurance, because sometimes if you rent a facility or you're going to use somebody's space, they want proof of insurance, proof of liability, and this website's where you would go to get that. They'll shoot you a printout. But then again, if you're serving alcohol, or obviously if you're going to be in a closed-in space these days, you may just want to speak to someone, and that's where that district contact would really come in handy. But I'm at the end, so I'm open to questions, concerns. I want y'all to know, if you call me at my Rotary office, I'm happy to help you with anything. And if I haven't covered it, so what? I'll help you figure it out. So don't be nervous or scared if you're just starting out. I mean, you've got a ton of resources. If I don't know, I'll find out. So
What was your phone number again, Erin?
it is 423-267-1621. And Wanda is there with me most of the time. And if she doesn't know, she can put you in touch with me. And then if I don't know, I will find out.
Right.
I'll call Ron.
And then Ron will call Wanda.
No, I have some other resources, and especially at Rotary International, I've had the fortunate exposure. I got to go to the Rotary home office up in Evanston. I've been there twice. Got to sit face to face with financial folks, and you know, the people that work with, that I've been on the phone with all these years, face to face. It's an amazing facility. Ron, you've been there multiple times. Jim's been there, I believe. I was made very welcome, even though I have a Southern accent. It was kind of good to get a face-to-face and faces, you know, with names and whatnot. So I have some contacts up there if you need help. Any other questions, concerns? I see John Downs. I didn't see him here before.
Yeah, I'd like to make a pilgrimage up there someday too. But just real quick, is there any expectation or obligation on me to provide you my contact information right now in order to receive PowerPoint presentation? Or, which is my cross-fingered hope, because I've registered for this, are you going to send it to me automatically?
Ron?
I'll try to answer that question. Our intention, Ty, is to put a recording of all of the sessions that I remembered to record. I missed the first one. Somewhere up on our district website so that anybody can see any of them. And then I've tried to make a list of the folks, Ty, who are here. And so, you know, for you guys, you'll get something. We'll send you Erin's thing as soon as we can put this list together. But we'll also include with that, you know, announcement about about the website, that if you want anything from any of these sessions, you just have to ask for them. So hopefully you guys will get them sooner than later, but you'll have access to them sooner or later. How's that?
Okay.
Yeah. Todd, do you want my email address too?
Yeah, let me, I'm going to stand up and get a pen.
Stand up and get a pen.
It was on the first slide, but let me write it down.
Yeah. Well, we're all friends here. We'll wait. Anybody else? John, you got a beard going on, John Downs.
My Corona beard. I got the sun peering in the window here, so
There
it's
is.
blinding me.
How's Nancy?
What's that?
How's Nancy?
He's doing well.
Good, good.
All right, basic contact information for
Erin Kelly.
retrieval of the slides.
Yep. Chat Rotary. It's ChatTrotary at ChattanoogaRotary.com.
Got it. Thank you.
And I promise y'all, if you have a question, just call me at the office. Remind me who you are, and you know, I'll help you find whatever you need. I'm here to be a resource. It makes me proud to do that. So whatever I can do. Because Rotary success is my success. That's the way I look at it.
Absolutely.
Anybody else? When is everybody going to start meeting again?
We met Tuesday in person.
In person?
Yeah, I just pulled the trigger, and I had a couple of texts from some people that said I'm ready to eat, and I just sent the invite per usual.
How big is your club?
I have resigned myself to the fact that we're going to be a smaller club when we come out of this.
Yeah,
and,
I think we all are.
Okay. But I think we got 28 registered, but we had 17 at the meeting.
Wow. Were you socially distanced? I mean, did you follow guidelines and all that?
Kind of, sort of. I mean, Loudon, we're in a rural area and we're just
Right.
impacted like major metropolitan areas. So we felt pretty safe. It's a small town. We all know each other, and it was a good meeting. It was our first meeting in some 3 months.
I wish. We're looking at August, first week of August for our group. We're still going to be limited on number. We usually have around 200 at a meeting, so we're not going to be able to do that.
Yeah, I did do a Survey Monkey,
Yeah,
just asking everyone
I did that today.
who feels comfortable meeting and who does not feel comfortable meeting.
Do you Zoom your
And
meeting?
it was, no, I never did.
Okay.
But this was,
We've been Zooming, and I'm going to keep Zooming for people that don't feel comfortable. We're going to, once we get back in person, we're going to continue to Zoom the meeting. I have a large number of elderly folks.
I do all my communication through email, through DACDB.
Yeah.
That's how I sent the Survey Monkey, but I got a 1/3 response. No, I don't want to meet. And it was amazing when we called the meeting, that 1/3 didn't show up. So.
Anybody else already started?
Yeah, Franklin County. Oh, yeah. Franklin County, we did ours last Thursday in person.
That's awesome.
About
Are you
7 of us showed up.
visitors come?
Two still did it on Zoom. So we had in person and we had Zoom at the same time.
Yeah, we're going to keep Zooming. John Downs, did y'all meet?
Yeah, we started last week and we're meeting again this week. But what we did is we found a local church that had a covered pavilion and we're meeting outdoors.
I love that.
So, you know, and then we have boxed lunches brought in, and you can socially distance and you don't have to worry about like buffet style food, which is what we typically have.
Well, we're talking about doing a social at a dog park.
For
Because
breakfast or for the big
eat
club?
each other. Yeah, we have a dog park that's about to open. Whereas Chattanooga's a little different. I mean, we've actually had a lot of cases here and they keep going up. So there's some concern that we're going to have another spike. Working in the assumption that everything's going to just keep going anyway, spike or not. I'm hopeful.
What about breakfast club?
I don't know. We haven't met yet. Jim, do we know when?
No, we don't know yet. We just had a survey, got really good responses on the survey. I don't think there's a chance that we'll meet in July. Very, very slim.
Good.
You know, August 1st is maybe a good target date.
I miss my people.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't realize how much I loved that big Rotary meeting every week. And even though I work really hard at it, it's a thing. I mean, it's been part of my life for 15 years. And when it suddenly stops, it's hard.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, you know, Rotary is a people organization. I mean, that's what we are all about. So I think it's been a struggle for all of us to not be able to reach out and shake hands and, you know, high five and whatever kinds of things that each of us individually does. It has created some interesting opportunities for us and some challenges, you know, as well. But, you know, I've been, you know, pretty encouraged by the resilience of our Rotarians in our district in terms of their patience in some situations and their creative ideas about how to meet and jumping into Zoom, even though a lot of people are pretty uncomfortable with it. You know, of course, as I don't have to tell you guys, you know, part of the problem that we all have is we have members that either are not comfortable with Zoom or don't know how to use it, or in some cases don't even have access to you know, to the internet. So, you know, living in East Tennessee has its challenges.
I've seen up people's noses, in people's ears. I mean, when you do a Zoom for, you know, and you've got 83 people on a Zoom, it's 4 pages. And it's pretty funny, you know, what you see while it's going on. You just try to make it funny, I guess.
Sure. You know, there are some advantages. I'm looking at this picture of Candace and her dog, and you know, we probably couldn't see Candace's dog if we weren't doing Zoom. So
yeah,
you know, there are some advantages, you know, to this Zoom.
Here's another one of my felines. This is Jake. He's my 8-year-old boy. He weighs 17 pounds. But they told me he wouldn't live till 2 because he had a chronic illness. But guess what? He's 12. So, yeah, I've got to see people's dogs and people's homes and their kitchens. I don't have any backgrounds.
So does anybody have any other questions or comments or concerns about the club secretary position? Because we don't want to take any more time than we have to, because everybody's time is valuable.
I'm happy to answer anything.
And we do have a poll before we leave, but I want to make sure everybody's done before we do this quick poll. So.
Nope.
I don't see a whole lot. So, all right, we're going to, Jim Roxall, I'm going to take it my second shot at a poll here today. So we'll see how this works.
Hey, you can do it.
You can do it.
Let's see. Okay. Hang on a question. Where did it go? It's gone. Okay, hang on. All right.
This is waning. I've seen you do it before. Like
I have done it. I have done it before. So hang on a second here.
my fifth training session. So
Yep.
Have you got it yet, John?
I'm a remedial student.
Okay, we don't have our poll ready. So the real bottom line question is, we can skip the first couple of things. The real question is that we have 3 questions, and one of them is, was this interesting? And the second one, have you attended one of these things in person previously? And that's all good information. But the real question is, do you prefer virtual meetings, in-person meetings, or does it matter? And so since I can see most people here, we'll just do a real quick, put your hand up about this question. So the first option is, do you prefer a virtual meeting? Okay.
For training purposes, yes, but not for regular.
Yes, we're only talking about this, and we're only talking about training purposes. So anybody wants to put a hand up, or Emily, nice job putting up both hands.
I like that. She knows what to do.
Okay, now who has a preference for the in-person meetings? Okay. Of course, we have 3 people on the phone. We can't see them, so we don't, and Rob too. So okay, now how about who says it doesn't really matter?
I'd like to qualify mine though. I think that if you're only doing an isolated case, then virtual is the way to go. But trying to do 2 a night all week is a lot. I'd rather do one Saturday and knock it out.
I really like to see everybody in person.
I do too. But there's some efficiency gains if you're going to go
right.
A couple of hours to have a 1 hour or 2 hour training, then this is the way to go.
Well, some of it, yeah,
a hybrid form of a in-person meeting with the option of Zoom would allow somebody, if they can't make a 2-hour trip that day, they can still attend the meeting. I think there's a good place for Zoom, though nothing takes the place of in-person, I don't think.
Agreed.
Right. And the other thing, Woody, is that, obviously right now we're trying to, provide both of those for our club members, right? Those who can come to a club meeting, we want them to come, and those who can't, we hope that we can provide something virtual for them. Colleen brought up a real good point last night, and she said, for those who want to hear more than one of these things, if you do it live, you can't do it, right? Because we do all these separate sessions at the same time.
That's true.
So that's the advantage of virtual kinds of things. So there's a balance in any training thing, and I think the district training assembly is probably the most complicated when it comes to this, because we do try to shove a lot of opportunities in there, but you can't do more than one at a time. So that's the reason why we're asking is, this question. It isn't going to help us this year because this year is done. It's more to help Cindy and District Governor nominee Cindy and Al Clark to follow her to make it better for everybody else moving forward. So that's kind of why we're asking that question. So.
You know, and I think that, you know, that you should be commended for as successful as it has been given the curve you were thrown, you know. It's really come off pretty well, given the amount of time you had to prepare for it, you know. So kudos to you and your team.
Well, you know, as you've heard me say many times, John, I mean, we've got some of the best Rotarians in the world in our district. So as long as as long as we give them a chance, they'll be there with us. So.
We do have great people.
Okay. Anybody have anything else? I see it. I'm going to check it. We got a chat down here. We'll see if we need anything else. So, okay. Got it. So, anybody else have anything else? Erin, you have any last comments?
Just call me if you need help. You know, reach out. Don't spend any time being stuck on anything.
Okay. Well, and again, thank all of you for your interest in the club secretary session here. I've always said that being the club secretary, and I've never done this, so I can say this, I think being the club secretary is probably the hardest job in Rotary, because there's just so many different things that you may have to do, especially depending upon the size of your club. So thank you all for either being club secretaries or being incoming club secretaries, or being interested enough in what your club secretary does to help make it better for that person. So thanks everybody, and I hope everybody have a great night. So let's give Erin a big virtual clap, so to speak.
Well,
all right.
My first time out, Ron.
Thanks. All right. Thanks everybody, and everybody have a great night, and we'll shut everything down in a few seconds.
Okay. Thanks, Ron.
Thank you, Ron.
Going away
Thanks,
in
Ron.
3,
Thanks, Ron.
2, 1.